Experience is the best teacher, thus immersing oneself with the art, music, literature, being one with the traditions and learning from them. An intertwined experience is indeed the best way to be one with the rich tradition and to gain first-hand knowledge. The Yuva Sangam initiative, as part of the NEP 2020, gives youth a multi-dimensional exposure and an opportunity to be a part of the cultural richness. As the five P's stand: Paryatan, tourism; Parampara, traditions; Pragati, development; Paraspar Sampark, people to people connect; and Praudhyogiki, technology. Welcoming you all to the fine inaugural ceremony of Yuva Sangam, Phase 4. Today we have with us vibrant youth from Chhattisgarh as part of this initiative. Let's begin this beautiful venture by a silent prayer. Kindly rise.
मैत्री भजत अखिल हृजयत्री मैत्री भजत अखिल हृजयत्री आत्मवदेव परानपि पश्यत आत्मवदेव परानपि पश्यत युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत त्यजत परेष्वक्रममाक्रमणम् त्यजत परेष्वक्रममाक्रमणम् मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजयत्री.
Please settle down. May I request the dignitaries, Professor Andavutan, Professor Deepa, Professor Rajesh, Lieutenant Colonel Julius George, and Professor Vijay Kuriakus to kindly come on to the dais. Light symbolizes knowledge and wisdom. Lighting the lamp is a symbolic moment that signifies dispelling of darkness and igniting thought and enlightenment. Requesting the dignitaries to light the lamp of wisdom and inaugurate the ceremony. May I now invite Dr. Vijay Kuriakos, Assistant Professor, IM Kozhikode, to welcome the gathering.
Respected Mentor Professor Anandakudan Unithan sir, Dean Outreach Executive Education and Internationalization Professor Deepa Sethi ma'am, Dean Programs Professor Rajesh Srinivas sir, Chief Head and Administration HR Lieutenant Colonel Julius George sir, And the flesh and blood of this program, delegates from delegates from Chhattisgarh, faculty members from Guru Gasidas University, faculty members from IM Kozhikode, and all other staff members assembled here. Jai Johar. Jai Johar. Namaskaram. Welcome to God's own country and God's own campus. And we all are aware that India is a diverse country. And in terms of diversity, India can be considered to this continent of Africa, which has 55 nations. And if you want to love anything, we should know about it. And or we are aware that India is a young India, and it's majority of the population is coming under the age of 35. To empower the youth of India and to create awareness among the youth of India about the rich diversity, culture, and traditions, the government of India has come up with Yuva Sangam program. And I am Kozhikode, and we are proud to host Yuva Sangam Phase 4. And I am sure that this program will have a long-lasting impact among the youth of India, and this will create awareness and patriotism among our youth. With this note, I would like to welcome Mentor Professor Anandakudan sir to this function, and he's an eminent academician, and his classes are well known. And if you get an opportunity to interact with Professor, please utilize it. And I welcome Professor Anandakudan sir to this function. Professor Diba Sethi ma'am, on Jan 24th, I was heading for a class. I got a call. Professor, where are you? I said, ma'am, I'm going to class. Meet me after the class. And ma'am said, there is a program, and I was totally unaware of it, and I joined only 5 months back. And you should head it. And I said, ma'am, I'm a little bit skeptical about whether I'll be able to do it or not. Then ma'am said, don't worry, we are with you. And ma'am constituted an excellent committee, which is always very supportive, and it's because of their effort this program became successful. And whenever we had a confusion, we ran to Professor Diba ma'am, and always with a smiling face, she had a solution. I welcome Professor Diba Sethi ma'am to this function, and you can expect a great speech from ma'am also. And Professor Rajesh Srinivas, he's the Dean Programs. And you know that he was very busy, and yesterday only we have sent the invitation, right, sir? He was very happy to he was very happy to accept the invitation, and by 8:45, he was here before I'm coming also, right? So on behalf of all assembled here, I welcome sir to this impactful meeting. You know that though we are here, the administration is the backbone of any institute. So we are very well aware about the support provided by Lieutenant Colonel Julius George sir. And without the support of administration, this won't be successful. On behalf of all assembled here, I welcome Lieutenant Colonel Julius George sir to this function. And I can see 45 young minds here. And we were interacting in the train also, and they were very energetic, and they were very enthusiastic to come to Kerala. And you are the crux of this program. And I welcome all the delegates from, including faculty members from GGU to this function. Last but not the least, the core committee members and the subcommittee members and the faculty members of IIM Kozhikode and all assembled here. Without your support, this is not possible. And on behalf of the core committee, I welcome all the members assembled here. When I was going through YouTube to or Google to understand what is Yuva Sangam all about. And there were a lot of criticism also. Even then, after spending 10 days with the delegates from Kerala, I'm sure that this program is a grand success. And the objective of these programs are very crucial and we are able to meet. I would like to wind up my welcome speech with a video, and this substantiate the success of this program. And one request, don't make this trip just as a tour. Try to learn and make this a learning experience also. And with that, I am winding my speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. May I now invite Professor Anandakutan B. Unnithan, Mentor Professor, to address the gathering.
Thank you. So I'm so happy to see all of you here. In fact, I saw you yesterday. All of you were assembled in front of the main gate, taking probably pictures. All of you were wearing the same color t-shirt also. Now we are so happy and proud to host you in the campus and in Kerala for the next few days. It is very challenging work by the entire team of IIM Kozhikode to organize this. And I hope that your stay here will be beautifully organized without any trouble. So sometimes it's interesting to see the country that we call India. Some people call it a political entity that was constituted in the year 1947. And some argue that without the British coming and colonializing the entire India, a country like India may not have been possible. Of course, there is a political entity called India. But beyond that, there is a cultural entity called India, which was not constituted in the year 1947, which used to remain for the last thousands of years. If you don't believe in the thousands of years, at least for several hundreds of years. Because of people who remained together in a landmass, who shared a lot of thoughts, ideas, cultural characteristics, so that they developed a sense of oneness. That is how nations becomes sustainable, strong. Nations remain vibrant because the people of the nation, they share one common identity. Not because there is a document called the Constitution that says there is a country called India. That document is extremely important. More than that, what is important is the people, do they feel that sense of connection, that belonging to the idea of their motherland? That is what India is. So recently, I saw a very interesting campaign by McDonald's. So they are bringing in a new product called a dosha masala burger. Have you ever had it? You will never find dosha masala burger anywhere in the world, only in India. So what is a provocation for dosha masala burger? If you travel to US, you will find cheeseburger, but in India, you don't find the same cheeseburger. It's a different cheeseburger. You will have a paneer burger in India. You have a dosha masala burger in India. So dosha masala burger, to some extent, celebrates this idea of India, which is of course different from the rest of the world, even though we are trying to get integrated more with the rest of the world. This is what the culture is about. If there is an individual at certain age, probably you are reaching that age, you have the urge to be married, then you have two people, right? So that is where the diversity begins. For the rest of your life, these two people will have to create a shared identity. You will have to accept each other. You have to learn from each other. So if you successfully do it, well, the family will remain a joyful family. If you don't make the transition, two individuals will remain. These two individuals will remain in conflict with each other for the rest of the life. If they are not able to manage that conflict, sometimes the family will break apart also. The country is also like that. We are separated by languages, we are separated by religions, there are multiple states, people have their short term objectives. Apparently, there is a lot of differences. These differences are only one part of the story. So people who study culture says that culture is like an onion. On the surface, there are a lot of differences. The language is different, of course. The food is different. There are vegetarians and there are non-vegetarians, and both of them believe that vegetarianism or non-vegetarianism is superior, and we are naturally vegetarian or non-vegetarian. Our rituals are different. Our notion of God is also different. But a society can remain together only when we go beyond the surface layer of the onion and realize that probably at a much more latent level, at a much more deeper level, there is something that connects all of us. That identity is what keep a country together, despite all the differences. When we became independent, there were a lot of naysayers, there were a lot of skeptics that they thought that it is difficult for a country like India to remain together because the internal forces will ensure that the country will be disrupted, disintegrated. But it did not happen, despite the attempts of many people. So, why it did not happen is there is an underlying common core of some values, certain beliefs. More than that, there is a sense of an identity, a connect. So, people of the north of India, they come down to the southernmost tip of India. There's a temple called the Kanyakumari. There's a temple called the Rameshwaram. So there is a story that is written a few thousand years ago that talked about the story of Rama, Lord Rama, who made this difficult travel from the north of India to the south of India in search of someone he loved above anything else in the world. Even after a few thousand years, we still follow his path. So people of the north of India, they make a pilgrimage to the southernmost tip of India. So what make them do is this umbilical cord that connect them to the past, connect them to the tradition and the history. And people in the south of India, where do we make that pilgrimage? We make that pilgrimage to the northernmost extremes of India. There is a temple called Badrinath. Even now, the priest in Badrinath is chosen from Kerala. So, by tradition, for thousands of years, the priest in Badrinath is chosen from some, he should be a Keralite. So, we make a pilgrimage there. So, when there is a death in the family, there is a very interesting ritual in Kerala families that you are supposed to do the last rites in Kashi, Benares. So, you wear the necessary ritualistic clothes, you take a vow, and you make the symbolic trip to Kashi. Even if you can't go to Kashi, you make that symbolic trip and you do all the ablutions, all the rituals. And then when you come back, you are received into the family after completing this ceremonial diksha. So we don't go to, even if we go to the neighboring river, we assume that the neighboring river is Ganga. We invoke Ganga. So by mantras, we invoke Ganga, and the remaining rituals are ritualistically assumed that this is Ganga. This did not happen in 1947. This happened with the collective memory of thousands of years. It is not only with the people who follow Hinduism, but the Muslims of Kerala, they visit Ajmer. The Christians who live in Punjab, they come to Velankanni. So it is no wonder that some of the holiest of all the places in India are scattered all over India. And pilgrimage is the original tourism. We seek the God all over India. It is this emotional connect. It is this emotional connect. It is the connect that we have with the roots, which has created a national identity of India. That is why India remains together, not just because of the political organization of our country. So, to a great extent, programs like this would help us to travel more, meet people. Of course, we will see a lot of differences. When you come to Kerala, you will see quite a lot of differences. People look a little different, they dress a little different, the language is difficult for you to understand. The food is, of course, very different. And you will hear told stories about one of the greatest civilizations in India is Kerala. Of course, when we come to North, we will hear the same stories, right? So there is a Silk Route where many parts of India were connected to the rest of the world in the quest of trade. So we had a spice route down south. I don't know whether you realize it or not. There was Christianity in Kerala even before Rome became Christian. When the English were aboriginals, there was no Christian apostles anywhere in the Europe. And nearby my hometown, Tiruvalla, there is a temple which is 2000 years old. There is a church also which they believe is 2000 years old. One of the original apostles of Jesus Christ, he came to Kerala and set up the church. There was no Roman Catholic church at that time because the Rome was not Christian. The Rome was persecuting Christians, and some believe that the original Christians came down to Kerala because there was persecution elsewhere. If you visit the town of Kochi, you will find Jew settlement, thousands of years old. The Jews were invited to India. They settled down in India. The trade and commerce of Kerala was controlled by the Jews. Why? They were running away from religious persecution elsewhere. So we have a mosque somewhere in the middle of Kerala, which looks exactly like a traditional Indian household, Kerala household, which looks exactly like an old temple. It's called the Cheraman Mosque. Well, the story is that the king of that particular place gave this to the first cohort of Muslims so that they can worship. So all these different religions, they coexisted very peacefully in Kerala for several hundreds of years. So we are quite proud of this history. Even colonialism also started from Kerala, right? So we had a rich history of trade with the Arabs. We had a rich history of trade with the Ethiopians and with the Chinese. But most of them are only interested in trade. Then came the Europeans. I don't know whether they are being taken to a place nearby called the Kapat, which is just 20 kilometers. That is where Vasco da Gama and the Portuguese landed in India for the first time. And that began the story of colonialization of India. So, this is the history, and we are quite proud of that history. But beyond the pride, all of us are proud of our own culture, our own history, right? Sometimes we believe that we are very, very different and we are better than others. But beyond that pride, there is also something that connects all of us together, right? The shared values, the umbilical cord. I believe that you should see and appreciate all these differences. But at the same time, when you are appreciating all those differences, you should also be able to see beyond those differences. So we have a large number of people settling down in this piece of land called India, coming from various places. Some of them may have come here for trade, some of them may have come here for commerce. But after settling down, these people became a part of India. They intermarried, they intermixed. So that when you travel from south to north, from east to west, you will see all sorts of skin colors, right? So I don't know whether that is a right expression or not. If you look at the Indian cricket team or if you look at the Indian football team, it is a rainbow team in terms of all the different ethnic identities represented. We don't talk about it as a rainbow team because the word rainbow is nowadays having very different other connotations. So this is the mixing. So together the mixing, together the sharing, together the sense of belonging. Because right from time immemorial, our country has accepted everyone and anyone with open arms. Well, they were made to feel that it is their homeland. Contrary to what happened probably when a group of people from Europe, they went to United States of America. What happened to the original inhabitants? A large number of free spirits there. They are in reservations. The same thing happened when a large number of immigrants went to Australia or to New Zealand. What happened to the original inhabitants? So, what is so fascinating about India is in India, whatever is the reason, people from various parts of the world came down. Some in conquest, some in trade, some escaping persecution. All different reasons can be there. What happened is they mixed, they lived together, they shared in relative degree of peace, if not absolute peace. That is the spirit of India. I don't know whether you are being taken there or not. There is a folklore in Kerala that there is a temple nearby. The goddess there is the goddess came on a ship along with the people who are fleeing their mother country. It's just 25 kilometers away. I don't know whether you are taken there or not. That place is called the Kollam. The story is that a group of people were escaping persecution in their homeland. They came on a ship and their goddess, they believed in Mother Goddess. The Mother Goddess also came there. And even after hundreds of years, she is worshipped. Not as a goddess of a group of people who came and settled down in that part, but the goddess of the entire people. So this is not just a story from Kerala. If you look around, you will see similar stories, not only people coming in, but their gods also came with them. And their worship also continues. But over a period of time, this got connected to each other. So one of the beauty of our country is this mixing. One of our beauty is at one level we are very, very different. At one level we are very, very common in terms of our values, in terms of the connect that we have towards each other. So I wish the next few days you have in the campus, you will enjoy Kerala. You will enjoy our rich food. You will look at all the greenery and you will experience all the wonderful hospitality we have to offer you. But at the same time, you will also see that it is not different. It is one and the same. It is just a manifestation of the white light. When it goes to prism, it colors, it creates the rainbow colors. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for in this short time actually touching upon so many points with respect to the diversity and our culture and the food and everything. It was a wonderful speech. So thank you so much. May I now invite Professor Rajesh Upadhyaya, Dean Programs, to address the gathering.
Good morning, everyone. So, on behalf of IMK and the team of all of us, I welcome you to the campus. Starting after Professor Anand is really a difficult job because he's amazingly knowledgeable about the identity and culture. So what I would focus on is a little different, which is in terms of what India was in the decades about 1,000 years ago. It's probably the richest heritage, which Professor Anand widely described, and more importantly, because of that heritage, India was also known as the land of the golden bird, and that's where the trade happened and people started coming towards us. So it's probably the richest economy in the world. And if you really see the contrast that happened after the colonial period, most of us have read what happened during the colonial period and how we lost out in terms of the wealth that was there, and which was also partially because of the type of innovations that happened in the land, which is Europe. And if you talk about around 1800s onwards, most of the innovations that drove the European continent, which is the invention of the steam engine, starting from there, and to the invention of electricity and so on and so forth, that started the development of the country. So we felt behind because of the colonial thing that happened with those 200 or 300 years, that India was completely under the domination of the colonial rule. And we could not really take up technologically innovative tasks because our resources are being plundered. However, since 1947, we started coming back. Of course, we went through a period of degrowth because obviously after the colonial era, in any country which is not without much of resources could not start off to being a very rich country right at the beginning itself. But over the last 3 decades, since the liberalization, which is 1991, most of us are aware that India liberalized and started to open up to the developed world. The economy started taking a U-turn. And we are standing at a very critical juncture at this point. And the critical juncture is because if you really see the top economies of the world, in 1947, we were the 6th largest economy in the world. And after that, we went down. And we are again now the 5th largest economy in the world. We have just recently overtaken UK, United Kingdom. And the opportunity is what I'm going to talk about in the next 20 years, given what he has talked about our rich history. The opportunity for the next 20 years, and I'm addressing the youth, is immense because we are going to be a 3rd largest economy by 2032. And that means there are a significant number of opportunities that are available for all of you in the next decade that we are going to witness. And these opportunities are going to unfold its own sets of challenges. So it's not that opportunities are going to be a bed of roses, because yesterday I was looking at a news item. There is a software called Divina. It's an AI tool which actually can create applications completely without coding. So you just tell that this is what I want. It gives you the app. It also fixes the bug. And people might have heard about Upwork, right? Anybody heard about Upwork? Yeah. So this software is also there on Upwork. So you don't require coders anymore to do coding. So obviously, that means that it's not going to be a bed of roses. While there is an opportunity that we are all looking at, the opportunity will be fraught with challenges. And the important aspect there is the revolution in terms of not only the economic development that we are witnessing, the innovation engine was also kick-started in India. And most of the startup movements that happened, I'm not sure whether you're visiting Kerala Startup Mission, which is probably the most sought after innovation ecosystems in India. And I don't know whether you have a audience about that, but the innovation system is pretty crucial for the economy. And Kerala is a very good example of how the innovation ecosystem is changing in terms of the startup innovations and the type of innovation ecosystems. So, and why that is important is we really look at a comparable figure between China, which liberalized in 1978. China liberalized a decade, nearly about 12 to 13 years earlier than India. And India was liberalizing in 91. And if you compare these two economies, the Chinese growth rate, which is now falling, the growth rate came in the last 2 decades. And that's why India's growth rate is going to come in the next 2 decades. We're just looking at what China is and what India is. And more importantly, if you really look at the patents that are happening from India, patents of India are much larger if we compare that to China, what it was in 2009. 2009, the patents of China was not high. But if you compare that, because we have liberalized later, our patents are much higher. We are patenting a lot more. And that happened primarily because of this knowledge transfer and welcoming nature of India. Because we try to insource and transform that knowledge. And that helps us to keep ahead of the innovation curve. And so that's why it's very important that such events like Yuva Sangam help understand India itself so that this knowledge transfer takes place. And we get products which are very good for India and consequently for the world. And I'm sure that this experience that all of you will go through will help you navigate this trajectory of understanding another state in a deeper sense and will help you take on the tasks and roles that you have to perform as youth who are going to be adults in the next 2 decades. You are the future, and we believe that all of you will make us proud and make your institutes and respective states proud. Good luck. Again, welcoming you, and have fun too. Thank you.
Encouraging youth to embrace every challenge as an opportunity. Thank you, sir, for inspiring the youth of today to see tomorrow, to have a vision for tomorrow. May I now invite Professor Deepa Sethi, Dean, Outreach, Executive Education and Internationalization.
So already a lot has been spoken. No topic under the sky has been left for me by my two esteemed colleagues. So I really wonder what I'm going to talk about. Nonetheless, I'll address you because as a professor of communication, I have no other work, right? So if I am not able to speak extempore, impromptu on something which has not been covered, that would be my failure. So I'll try. A very good morning to all the young faces here. The young faces on that side, as well as the youngest ones on this side. A very good morning. And I welcome you all. While sitting there, Professor Rajesh and me both asked the core team, why have we not been given those t-shirts? And so one of them, I'll not name the person, he said to Professor Rajesh, he happens to be a colleague. Where is he? Professor. So he says to Professor Rajesh, you are too old to wear this. And I asked another colleague, without naming him, I'll say, why am I not given? So he says, you are too unique. Now, these are nice ways of saying no, right? But that's how it was. And we are blessed with colleagues sitting on this side with this blue t-shirt and making us jealous of not wearing it. So we are proud of them. This all could happen because of them, right? Professor Vijay happens to be my student in a faculty development program, and that he told me once he accepted to be the chair of this particular program. He reminded me actually. So not only as a student, but also as a faculty, he has been sincere and diligent in his work, not only in the class, but also in handling such a big event of this kind. He just returned yesterday, and I saw him with all of you on campus. I said, "What are you doing? Let the team here handle it. You go home and take rest." And he was here till afternoon, and today morning again he is here. So thank you so much, Vijay, for handling this all. So I am not going to talk about culture and the country because my colleagues have already shared about it, and I may not be able to add much. However, I would like to focus on what this five P's are. Right. Paryatan tourism, that's what would have come to your mind when you entered this campus, right? In fact, the moment you entered the state of Kerala, when your train was moving inside Kerala, that happened to me 12 years ago when I joined this place. When I was traveling from Lucknow to this place, I was traveling in a train because a lot of luggage. And the moment I was entering closer to Kerala, I could see all shades of green. In my life, I had seen before that 2, 3 shades. But here I find on both my left and right side of the window greens, the hues of greens which I had never seen earlier. And and when I came on campus, said no matter what happens, I'm gonna retire here. Because I have a literature background, and who else would appreciate something like this, especially coming from a place where there were a lot of cement gardens, and here I come in a real garden. So this is where life is. And when Professor Anand was talking about the language, believe me, 12 years, I do not speak Malayalam. It is a classic language. It's not easy to learn. However, what I have learned is language is a medium. Communication happens even without language. And I have successfully done it with the person who helps me at home, my Chechi. She knows I do not know Malayalam. She inadvertently every day speaks to me in Malayalam. आई नो शी डजंट नो इंग्लिश एंड हिंदी. हम उससे इंग्लिश और हिंदी में ही बोलते हैं और चल रहा है. 12 साल से कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, राइट? मतलब लैंग्वेज के बिना भी कम्युनिकेशन हो सकता है. दैट्स व्हाट आई लर्नड. And it's all about your acceptability and acknowledgement of diversity. When we say diversity, what generally comes to our mind is color, race, religion, gender, so on and so forth. But there's one more diversity, which is diversity of thought. And because I have been blessed with people here who acknowledge diversity of thought, I happen to be standing here interacting with all of you. So acknowledging and appreciating diversity of thought is very important. Two people cannot think alike. So if at home it doesn't happen and we don't expect, why do we expect it at the workplace? It will not. It's okay to disagree and still work together, right? That's the beauty of this place. At times we have been assertively saying something to each other. At times we have appreciated each other. And that's how the institution has thrived from what it was 15 years ago to what it is now, right? And we all collectively take pride in it. And as you all come to campus, I would nudge you, don't be only tourists, right? पर्यटन अपनी जगह है, राइट? आप अभी जब मैं सीढ़ियों से ऊपर आ रही थी तो बहुत गर्मी है, बहुत धूप है बाहर और ह्यूमिड है. सो आई वाज टेलिंग आशा, विज आशा, सो आई वाज टेलिंग हर, छत्तीसगढ़ पीपल वुड बी थिंकिंग एक छत्तीसगढ़ से दूसरे छत्तीसगढ़ में आ गए, सिर्फ हरियाली है यहाँ पे, right? Weather is the same. So but then that was on a lighter note. The point here is it may be humid, it may be hot, but the heat doesn't burn you, the heat doesn't scorch you here. That's the beauty of Kerala. So beyond Paryatan there is life, there are people sitting here. And I know that the team that went there to Chhattisgarh, the faculty sitting here would be knowing how much they immersed into the culture. We were watching all the videos and pictures. Similarly, we want all of you to immerse in the Kerala culture. And not only Paryatan, but also Parampara, which is tradition. So now what is Parampara? We're not expecting you to follow all Kerala traditions, right? But as Peter Drucker rightly said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. You need to remember, no matter how much you strategize for your work, your life, your career, eventually culture is what it boils down to. So if you do not have the compatibility amongst yourself, that is where you're going to fail, right? Because it's not about how good a planner you are. It's not about what strategies you make. I'm sorry, Professor Rajesh. I'm talking about strategy. And so, no matter what strategies you make, but unless you have the pinch and essence of culture inside you, nothing will succeed. And I'm sure my colleague, who is a professor of strategy, would excuse me for saying that that culture eats strategy for breakfast. No, I already quoted him. I quoted him. So thank you so much. And again, I'll not talk much about the people to people connect. I already see the connect. How many of you knew each other before coming here? Very few, right? 2, 3 hands. Yeah. But on the way, you got to know each other more. Yes? Did you get to know each other? This is a misunderstanding. We do not know people, we know about people, right? Because very often when we do something which we never expected ourselves to do, we say, ye maine kiya. I can't believe this, which means we do not even know ourselves. So how do we claim knowing anybody? We only know about people. Maybe we know a lot about people at times, but we don't know people, because you cannot know that, right? Certain things are impossible. I would just like to remind you some TEDx speakers who use the words, nothing is impossible in this world. Have you heard that? Yeah. The spelling of impossible itself has I am possible. Familiar? Liars. They are biggest liars. The reason is, I'll give you 2 reasons. First of all, let me ask you, have you kept everyone in your life happy? Is it possible? It is? It is impossible, right? So something which is not possible is called impossible. So whenever next time somebody tells you nothing is impossible in this world, ask the person, have you kept everyone in your life happy? The person will say impossible and say, hence proved you are wrong. Second reason you can give him, no matter which state we studied in India, whoever taught us English in whichever class taught us the spelling of am as am. And there's no a in the spelling of impossible. Is it there? So how do they say the spelling itself has I am possible? M is a letter, it's not a spelling. 2 evidences that these people lying. Don't accept things as they come to you. Use your logic, use your ethos, pathos, logos, and then take a call, right? And that's what I nudge you when you are here, when you see a lot of things, when you hear a lot of things from each other and from some of us, take it with a pinch of salt, apply your own experiences, and execute, apply in your life. So thank you so much for this patient listening.
Adding humor, mincing it with love, sharing her experiences. Ma'am, it was a wonderful speech and a really inspiring one. Thank you, ma'am. May I now invite Lieutenant Colonel Julius George, Head Administration, to speak a few words.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much that you have traveled about 1,800 kilometers to come here to this beautiful land, beautiful district of Kerala, and beautiful institution of the country. You have heard our professors speak about various subjects. So I will take you to the journey of IIM Kozhikode, so that you will at least understand where you are. We are about 112-acre campus, and while you have been coming up the slopes, you would have realized that maximum area is left for the greenery. So we have utilized out of 112 acres, about only 30% of our campus for our construction. So we have two hills. Mainly, this institution is built on two hills. When the government gave us this land and a neighboring institution gave us this land, hillock, they said, "Oh, it's a wasteland. So let us see what happens here." But thanks to the architects and the builders who have built this campus, when the campus came up, all were amazed. It's one of the most beautiful campus in the country. Uh, Two hills. The hill you're sitting on is the academic hill, and where we all stay is an adjacent hill called the residential hill. So we have about 103 faculty members, about 97 staff, and about 1,500 students. As many hostel rooms, single and double occupancy. We have various sporting grounds, fields, two good football fields, swimming pool, squash court, badminton, lawn tennis. And the best part is there is no water supply because we are in the panchayat area. There is no water supply in the sense that we don't get water from anywhere. We generate or we harvest our own water. That is through three large ponds we have, and those are the rainwater harvesting ponds. And from these ponds, we purify them. We have our water treatment plant, and that is how the institution gets its water. We have a complete team of electrical engineers, estate, and the staff are divided into various sections to look after the interest of the institution and support all the functions: admission office, program office, student affairs, estate, transport, general administration, executive education, management development program, and so on. We also have an extension campus in Cochin, which looks after the executive programs. We hope that your stay will be wonderful. And you also heard that the team, the faculty, staff team, I think they are given out, they're all out to see that you all are comfortable here. And they have done a wonderful job. I think I was just from the background, I was just seeing, but the main work has been done by the complete team of faculty, staff, and all those involved in it. Thank you and have a comfortable stay here. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Requesting the visiting faculty to receive our token of love, inviting the deans to do the honors. The visiting faculty, kindly proceed as I call out your names, and also requesting you all to remain on stage for a photo session. Professor Ashwini Kumar Dikshit, Professor T.V. Arjunan, Professor Ramasamy Subramani, Professor Jyoti Verma, Professor Aarti Srivastava, Professor S. Shweta.
Professor Gladys, please come.
May I now invite Professor A.K. Dikshit, Nodal Officer Yuva Sangam, to share his experiences with us.
Thank you, ma'am. Respected professors on the dais, my dear friends, colleagues from the GGV and the team IIMK. When we started from Bilaspur, we know that we are visiting one of the best institute of India, that is IIMK. But when we reached here, we find it better than the best. We appreciate the great hospitality provided to us by the IIMK, and we are very thankful to the team IIMK for the same. Thank you, sir. We are going to enjoy the stay in the campus, of the campus in the Kerala, and we are happy to be here in the God's own country, and we are going to witness it. So, what's your opinion? You enjoyed or not? कल आपका स्टे कैसा था? बहुत अच्छा था? Say thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Requesting the faculty, visiting faculty, for to receive the kits. As I invite the names, I also invite the deans to do the honors.
I think the teams can give this. Yeah. The team should give this. Yeah, please, one by one you can come. Binoy, is there? All of you please come. Vijay, Vikas, Ashraf, you can please come and give. You please give them.
Professor A.P. Dikshit. Professor T.B. Arjunan.
Ranjit.
Professor Ramasamy Subramani.
Call everyone.
Professor Jyoti Verma. Professor Aarti Srivastava. Professor S. Shweta. Now requesting the students to come in an orderly fashion to collect your kits as well. There's a slight change. The kits will be distributed in some time. Gratitude sweetens even the smallest moments. May I now invite Dr. Gladys Stephen, Faculty Fellow IIM Kozhikode, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning. I've had enough session with you yesterday, right? Okay, great. So ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of IMK, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for gracing us with your presence for the inauguration ceremony of Yuva Sangam Phase 4, Chhattisgarh Delegation in Kerala. We are truly honored and privileged to have our esteemed guest, Professor Rajesh, Dean Programs, Professor Deepa Sethi, Dean Outreach Executive Education and Internalization, Professor Anand Kuttan. I'm so sorry that he had to leave because he's got a class. Mentor Professor, and Lieutenant Colonel Julius George, Head Admin and HR, who have taken their time to join us today and support Yuva Sangam. Your presence has made this event all the more special and memorable. I would like to express our sincere appreciation to Professor Unithan, Professor Rajesh, Professor Deepa, Lieutenant Colonel Julius for sharing their valuable insights and inspiring words with us. Your wisdom and encouragement will undoubtedly guide our journey ahead. Special word of thanks to all the delegates of Chhattisgarh and the faculty members of Guru Ghasidas University, Chhattisgarh, for traveling this far and being a core part of Yuva Sangam Phase 4. Your support and enthusiasm are invaluable as we embark on this journey to empower and uplift our youth through Yuva Sangam. A special word of thanks to all the core committee members, program committee, delegation, selection and coordination committee, logistics, hospitality and tour planning committee, social media and outreach committee. It was a complete 32-member core committee, right? And words will fall short of if I don't thank all of them enough. It is because of them that the program is running successful, and we as a part of core committee, we were like, okay, let's take it up, and we took this core challenge and we have come this far, and your hard work behind the scenes has not gone unnoticed, and we are grateful for your commitment and making Yuva Sangam, the inauguration ceremony, a grand success. Thank you once again for all your presence and support. Let's make Yuva Sangam a beacon of hope and opportunities for the generations to come. Thank you all.
At the moment, a few of our faculties will have to leave at the moment. So it's not winding up, but due to the time constraints.
Okay, thank you so much. We have classes starting at 10:30, so we have to leave. We are leaving our hearts behind. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
The moment I mentioned about the kids, I could see the gleam in your eyes. And when I said it will be distributed after some time, there was a slight fade. Let's have the distribution of the kits. I invite you all, our dear delegates, to come on dais for the same in an orderly manner, and also invite Lieutenant Colonel Julius George, Head of Administration, to do the honors.
हाँ बता तो पीछे का बाबू से फोटो खराब हो जाएगा किसका क्या मैं फोड़ बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद तो थैंक यू बोलना अबे कहाँ मैं बोला ना पीछे देखो कितने दूर बोलो माइक में
Kindly rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय है भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
requesting all to join us for the high tea which has been arranged right below. And after that, please join us for the photo session which has been arranged at Arjunabad. You will be led there. Thank you.